windy and cold up on Mount Panorama at Bathurst, where the Hardy Paredo 500-mile endurance race will be starting shortly. So, while we wait to cross for the telecast of this classic sporting event, here's some appropriate music.
I need to remind you that the road will be very much like a pork chop, so we would crave that you exercise a little caution. Up in the McPhillamy, yesterday a lot of drivers were cutting that corner and throwing a lot of gravel up onto the track. So if somebody goes off there through gravel being thrown on the track, there's nothing we can do about it.
Grid at the 1 minute ball. All pit crew must clear the grid at the 1 minute ball.
Well, with time running out, let's swing into our interviews and go down on the grid to look at Harry Firth and the Holden dealers team.
Harry Firth, you're having a good look at your tyres. It's wet. Is that going to be the story of the race?
I don't think so, really.
Well, the story of the race should be that the conditions will aid the Toranas fully. These small, light machines with their powerful six-cylinder engines and superb suspensions will be better balanced in the wet. These scenes were shot during the time trials yesterday when the team fully sorted out their tyres, and they could well score an advantage here. Firth has two brilliant drivers in Bond and Brock. The latter is the fast one.
So Michael's back onto the quarter. He's got rid of all that weld he's had across there. It looks like it's starting to shape up the way it should. Welcome aboard, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. So this is revisited from the previous episode, if you didn't watch that, to where he was up to. So hopefully now he'll get an idea where he's at with the finish of this quarter. So as you can see there, it's starting to look the goods, but until that file runs across that, we really don't know how good or bad he's got that. So if you're game, Mick, why don't you try the file across that?
Welcome aboard, everyone. So yeah, basically like Dave was saying, I've cleaned it up now and just running a little bit of 80 grit over with the orbital just to clean it right up so I can feel my highs and lows. But the old file, this will bring out all the issues, hey Pops?
So he's talked the talk, let's see whether he can walk the walk.
So all I want to do is just skim the file over the top for now and just bring those highs and lows out.
So now the welding's complete across there. How is it for strength, Mick? Still pretty good?
Yeah, it's really good. Like there's no stretch in that at all.
Yep, nice and tight. And as we've explained before with the panel file, the whole idea is with it, it's just a skim. You're not going to chop into that and take half the material away. That's what you just avoid all the time. All they are is to just nip the top off that steel just to finish it up. And it's a really good guide to see whether you have got any little imperfections as in lows or highs. It still may need a little tap up here and there. But do not get excited with that file and think you're going to take every imperfection out with it. Because until that steel's really straight, you won't. The file, all it does is finish the steel. and it's a really, really good guide to see what you've got. I love using the old panel file. It makes the job so much quicker and easier, and you know in the end when that file goes across, if you've got no bits and pieces, that panel will just prime up beautifully. That looks like it's starting to really come up nicely now. Had a couple little indiscretions in it, not very much at all, but he's gone super careful with that dolly just to get it where he wants it. But the shape's starting to look correct in it now. No stretch, and that's just how you want it, nice and strong still. So bit by bit he'll get through that by the looks. But I just noticed there, Mick, you're left-handed with the hammer.
I'm definitely not a left-handed person, that's for sure. But I think, you know, in these situations, you've got no choice. You've got to learn how to use your left hand.
But you've got to be able to do that, because as you're doing here, you've got no other way to do that. You've got to go right hand on the dolly, left on the hammer to get around inside that quarter.
Yeah.
So at the moment, that looks like it's shaped up really well.
It's starting to. It's about 40%. So you can see here with all this is still low through here. A little bit high. I'm just trying to tap my highs down gently.
So at the end of the day, you've just got to take your time, just feel that bit by bit. So what do you like to do? Start at the back of the panel and work forward, or just generalise right through it?
Yeah, I think it's really important that, like when you taught us, Pops, back in the day, we work in squares. So like I would focus just on this area to start with, and I'll get all these highs and lows right, but without stretching it. So then I'll also feel into this next square. So, you know, you sort of, what happens is if you overwork one square, it can grow.
Yep,
and
sure
then you'll
can.
have a massive high. So, and that can happen really easily. So that's why you need to tap those highs back in. And yeah, it's quite involved. It's not just a 5-minute job, that's for sure. And you really need to be on your game, concentrating, because once we stretch this, then we've got to start heat shrinking. And there's only a certain amount of heat shrinking you can do before that metal's had enough. And,
yeah, you don't want to go there.
We don't want to go there. We just want to keep, obviously this is welded in really good, so we won't have to do any heat shrinking. The little bit that's here and there, the highs and lows, is bugger all, as you can see. Like if I put a ruler on there, it's like really important this stage, but if I put a ruler on there, see there up close, Pops, it's literally a cup, like a mill.
Yep.
A mill there with that low, and it's literally bugger all. The actual panel, it does go, it has shape to it as well. So we're not trying to get it dead straight. So you want it to flow. It's
got that certain amount of factory fullness to it, it's just what it is, but you're trying to get that nice happy balance back into it without, you know, going too far one way or the other, basically.
Yeah, so once I tap these little lows out and just a couple of mil here and there, that's why we have to be so careful.
You really only, with all these panel repairs like this, you really only get the one shot at it to start with, and to make a nice job of it. And if it goes a bit south on you, it's not what it should be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you got a little bit to go there, not much, and we'll come back to it, eh?
Yeah, all right, Pops, that sounds good. Okay, Pops, so you've been up at SBI, mate?
Yeah, mate, been up, done the shopping, took the list up, gone through the shelves of goodies up there, gone and got the bits I need. So to start with, we've got the mixing cups. We've got some small ones, some medium, good range there. And one of the things that we always forget about are these taps, and this is a quality one. You can get the cheaper ones that after a while, and I bet plenty of you guys have been caught out there, the drums sit there, you'll come in, all of a sudden the things drip, drip, drip away. These are a quality tap, they don't leak. And when you screw them actually into the drum, they're nice and tight. They won't want to tend to undo when you turn that tap on, but they're a really good tap. They do not develop that leak after a while. So good thing. Roll of 80 grit for a bit finer. And some, what have I got here? 3M, oh yep, the little 3-on 80 grit, little screw off or spin-ons or spin-offs, which way ever you want to go. They're really handy for the fine little areas to sand. Love them things, really good little thing to have in the shop. And I've got some, what have I got here? Oh yep, 125mm sanding discs. As you can see, they're the fibre ones. Always use those things, really handy. Got to be careful too with your grits, don't go too aggressive, depends on the job. And some metal grinding discs, they're a 125mm. They're the Flex Voits, a little bit heavier, those ones. And, oh yep, almost forgot the respirator kit, 3M respirator kit. Awesome little thing to have, especially when you're in the booth. It's a must-have. And the list goes on. And of course, you've got to have your updated catalogue, parts catalogue for what's out for this month or whenever. And some foam back pads. And they're different grades. You've got some 3M ones there, but different grits, different grades. Really good for awkward corners to get in. Very good thing. And also on the sanding side of it, this is what they call a Kovacs range. These are fully made in Japan. They're just coming into the country. SBI now stock these. They're the exclusive agent for these things. We've used a little bit of this product, not a lot, but I'll tell you what, absolutely brilliant. I love these things. They'll last and last. But we'll sand the rest of this car as we get into it, and we'll use the full Kovacs range, but we're still waiting for some of the gear to turn up. They are an excellent product. Highly recommend those. And some more of the Kovacs there. And my final little bits and pieces. These sleeves, as the guys call them, or packs, different grits. You've got your 80s, 120s, 180s. Just depends what you're doing, what you want to use. But as I say, they will stock the full range of the Kovacs in all this paper. These aren't Kovacs, they're another brand. We use different brands at times. But they have some really good gear up there. So that's my little shopping spree at the moment, mate. And I haven't done too badly. I think I've got everything. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. If not, back to see the boys. Okay, so I'm going to review a few of these products where they're made, and the reason I'm going to do that is because we've learnt the hard way over the years. Don't buy cheaper, it comes back to bite you on the butt every time. These products here are all made from reputable quality companies. For instance, 3M with this respirator kit, made in the States, as you can see there, quality gear. And you only want to go, especially with your breathing stuff, you want top of the line, that is. And then you come across to the paper. The Norton range is made in various places around the world. These, I think, are Canadian made, these ones. I'm not certain there. But shortly, we will not use these. That will come to an end. Will be all Kovacs. But at this stage, we're still using some of the Norton products, which are still a very good product. And then, of course, you come across to the 3M, the little spin-off discs. They're made in Canada. Another excellent product. Love the 3M, just good gear. Cost you a little bit more, but it's well and truly worth it. It's actually cheaper in the end to buy better. And then you come across to these sanding discs. They're another American-made thing. US or Canada made. It's part of the Norton range. Still a very good product. And then things like this tap, as I pointed out earlier, It's American made. It's made in the States. I know whether that camera can pick that up there, whether I got that wrong or right for you guys. But they're actually American made. That's the difference between good and bad. Down to the Flex Voits, Australian made, another quality product. Used these things for years, they're a good deal, really work well for us. And of course, the quality mixing cups, they're another excellent brand. They're a very good thing. And as I say earlier, these Kovacs, they are a brilliant system. And the whole deal with all these products is all quality made gear. It lasts probably twice the life of cheap rubbish. And in the end, it gives you a better finish, a quicker finish. You'll be happier, and so will your pocket in the end, trust me. But that's SBI, that's what they're all about, is the quality, good gear. And I guess, I'm not sure, but I'm guess those over the years those guys have learnt too, cheap is not better, that's why they stock the good stuff. But that's an insight into those products and why we use them.
Yep, and another thing too, Pops, I think with the masks, use the best, that's your lungs, and look after your lungs.
110% right, mate, because it's your health, and without that health, you've got nothing. Look after yourself, especially in this trade. You've got a lot of toxic stuff to deal with, but it's always number one, that stuff.
Alrighty, so, okay, basically now, I've got it around probably about 80% finished. That last 20%, you can see here, I just want to really explain what I'm doing here so you know exactly, just say if you want to get a car done and you're paying for some file finishing and you really want to know that it is straight. Now, the file will actually explain, it's basically like when guys will put down a guide coat. Now, when you put a guide coat down in the black guide coat and you're rubbing it straight, it's going to leave all your highs and lows, and you'll see that with the guide coat. Now basically file finishing, it does exactly the same thing. So you can see here, these darker spots, they're lows. Now basically I need to knock them up to get them where they need to be. I need to knock them up, bring them back out so they will file and they'll look all the same colour and it'll all blend in as one. So that's when you know it's perfectly straight and the files, it's done its job, and I've done my job with all the panel work. So basically now I can't bullshit to you and say that is finished right now, because it's not, and you can see that there's still highs and lows. That's my last file, and it has come up so nice. I've got a couple of little lows here. I'll show you with the next step how to get them out, because they're probably only like 10 microns. They're literally nothing. So I need to be careful. I don't want to keep filing too much because I don't have to now, so I want to save as much material on here as I can. And as you can see, she's solid. You can't just go and push it in. She's the real deal. Yeah, back to a really good thing. And if you see, if I can run the file over the top, and it's not picking up any highs and it's not picking up any lows now. You can see with the marks. So that is a mint finish. So now the next step will be on the block with a nice piece of sharp 80 grit.
I'll tell you what, how about we sneak over here, see what he's up to with this quarter panel. I'll give him a bit of curry on this thing, stir him up a bit. And I'll tell you what though, I think he's done a bloody good job on it. But anyway, I'll sneak over and give him a bit of curry. Bloody hell, mate. You're still playing with this thing? That's something the apprentice would have done hours ago.
Getting there now, Pops. Coming to an end, mate.
Mate, is it any good or what?
Yeah, it's coming up absolutely mint, Pops. Mate, it is coming up mint. Oh, you got the camera out. You're the cameraman today, eh?
What the hell? I'm giving it a crack.
It's about time you learn how to use that thing, Pops.
So what do you got, 80 grit on that block there?
Yeah, I've got some 80. Basically now, I'm just removing the deep scratches, making it feel really nice and smooth so I can feel my panel, and yeah, just finishing it now. So the next thing will be a bit of 240 on the paper, and then mate, that's it. She's ready for a bit of primer and its first coat of primer.
It's come up good, I think, by the look of it.
No, it's come up really good now.
She's nice and straight. So what do you reckon, prime will fix that now, the last bit?
Oh, easy. I'm thinking 2 coats of primer, and then that's about all. So.
And so what I was saying there, I think back a couple of views on this quarter ago about being the quarter, you know, doing the repairs as a tradesman and all that. You can see now, while we sort of spruik the tradesman thing a bit, if it's done right and you know what you're doing, you don't need body filler. If you want the true deal, the true tradesman as a panel beater, this is it. It's the all steel finish. That's what the trade actually is. You're a panel beater or a coach builder, same difference. And when we were trained back in the day, there was no body filler. You'd oxy weld that back on, tap it all up, file it up, and if you needed to fill a little bit here and there, you wipe lead into it. So this is the true art of actual panel beating. I think that quarter's come up an absolute bloody treat. Looking at that, he's welded all that in around that rear bar opening. It's gone in nicely. You can see there now he's just chopping that last little bit off with the 80. How is it for strength, Mick? Give that a bit of a bump.
Yeah, it's strong. Back to it. I don't want to go hitting it too hard, obviously, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, like when it comes out of factory. So,
yeah, no, she's all back nice and square and strong, and yeah, excellent.
But yeah, so now just like I was saying, I'll finish it with the 80. You can see up here, it's got 80 mark. Oh, sorry, they're probably 36, I'd say.
Yeah, back in the day where it's had a tune up before.
So we've had to be careful because it's already had a grind back with the grinder on the top.
And that's the other side of it too. When you get into these old panels, when guys have hit it with a 36 grit disc and really laid into it.
Yeah, like here too.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, look, all full of filler.
You can see there the scores in that panel there where it's been, had the, you know, bejesus ground out of it back in the day.
Yeah.
And then the scary part is for us when we jump on a panel like this, it's unknown what you got. And if they've taken, you know, a good third of that steel away already, we don't have a hell of a lot left to sort of go with.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, so that's the hard part. Trying to work with a real thin panel. So this hasn't been too bad, but you can see I've got a couple of little highs and lows there, and they're nothing. Like we're talking
nothing.
Yeah, like 1 coat of primer, and that will be completely gone.
Probably not even Mick, half a coat.
But you can never tell where that's been welded now.
Never will.
So I'll finish this off. But we'll come back, Pops. I'll show it when I've got it back in 240.
Yeah, righto.
And then you'll be able to see.
And the other side of it is too, when you go on the inside of that quarter, it's going to look the same as the outside. You'll never ever know it's been done. It's what we get back to when we say invisible repairs. That's what it is. And if you're any good at this trade, and you actually, you can talk the talk, then you can walk the walk. But that's a classic example of a real top quality repair mix done there. You can't get any better than that. It's down to primer finish, and that's what's expected of a tradesman. Anyway, we'll come back to him when he gets the 240 on it. It'll probably be like a mirror then, and you'll really get the full effect of what he's done on that quarter. Now today what we're going to do is discuss this product here and a couple of other things that we use. But this particular one is a Dulux Ultra Build Fleet Shield Epoxy. It's a 4:1. It comes in black, grey and white. We love the stuff. It's one of our go-to primers. The best part about it is you can DM direct metal after your blast, or just bare steel straight on with that. It gives you the option to be able to rub, painted straight over that, no dramas. It's a very simple system. Or if you like, you can use the epoxy, then you can go a poly, then if you want to go another primer or colour, whichever way you want to go. But this particular product, what we like to do generally is put it down on our bare steel, whether it's been prepared by the blaster or hand prepared, and then a lot of the times, depending on jobs, we'll go straight on the top of that with colour, which it really will accept it, it's not a problem. Or if you want the ease of rubbing, you can use some poly. Because honestly, there's one thing I'll say with this product, which is a tiny, tiny downside. It goes like that. It's like, well, it's literally like concrete to rub. And I mean, don't be fooled, it's as hard as concrete. But the upshot of all that is, once it's cured, beautiful finish. If you've got a classic or a job that you want to last and look $1 million, I highly recommend it. It's one of my go-tos. I've tried them all over the years, all brands, different epoxies, polys, and to be honest, I really, really prefer that. But in saying that, we do use other products, other primers, other polys, but overall, that's my preferred choice. Now that's a little cat out of the bag, if you like. We've been asked for a long time, what do you guys use? What do you prefer? Well, that's the product there. I can't recommend it highly enough, but like anything, go by the data sheets, don't abuse it, and it'll be a real good thing. It'll reward you with an excellent job. But if you want to go ahead and buy that, that's stocked by SBI. The link will be in the description for that. The guys will look after you there. They can ship Australia-wide basically. They've got that complete range. They know the product backwards, and they're a top mob to deal with. But at the very present moment, I'm about to jump back in the booth, apply some of this stuff to a couple of panels, and I know once that's on, job's done. Okay, now one subject we should touch on right here and now, so everyone's very ultra clear, if you like, about the warranty side of paints and primers and different paint systems. So for instance, if you go with the Dulux, and there are certain requirements with microns in all brands of paint, if you exceed that criteria, you will void your warranty. But the other side of it is, if you start to chop and change, if you go Dulux base or primers, and then you jump on with PPG or whatever colour you want to use, and you apply that on that primer, your warranty's gone because you've used a different brand. So we've got the PPG Deltron here, excellent paint. So if we were going to go with the PPG, it would be all PPG. If we're going with Dulux, it's all Dulux. So don't be confused or chop and change if you're concerned about a warranty on your paint. So if we do a paint job for someone, it's all done with the one brand. We don't mix and match. It's not a good thing. They have all their own chemists that develop their product that work correctly together. So at the end of the day, it's either one way or another. That's how we like to do it. Obviously, some people will mix and match. I don't believe it's the proper way to do it, but that's only my opinion. But that's just a little thing on the warranty side of it. If you are concerned about your warranty on your paint, try to stick to those criteria and you should be fine. Okay, while we're on the subject of primers and all that sort of stuff, we may as well touch on guns. We like the Iwaters, always use them, tried other brands, but for some reason we seem to prefer them, we come back to them. This is what they call a W200, that's a real workhorse if you like. That's the high mile of that one, it's probably done a gazillion miles. And excuse the pot, that's not me, that's Michael. I wouldn't do that, that's Michael's fault. But anyway, that's one we use. Another one here, that's a W400, Iwata again, but as you can see we use suction and gravity feed. I prefer the old style because that's what I'm used of. These are great to a degree. The only thing I find in an awkward spot, if you're like up around the top of a door pillar inside a car and you haven't got a lot of room and you tend to want to do that, you bump up against things. Same principle for that if you're down too low, but I don't know, I can seem to get around stuff a bit better with them. But in saying that, I will use both, as in spraying left and right hand. You learn to work with what you have to do at the time. But with guns, there are all configurations, different size tips, but I think what you need to do is have a good quality gun, but you need a good quality guy to match that gun. So if you've got good paint, good guns and good painter or girl, sorry out there ladies, you're going to get a really nice finish. But everyone has their preferences. It's horses for courses, but we prefer the Iwata. But that's just us and that's what we use.
At the end of lap 1. Second is French. Brock is next in the Torana, which means Gibson and Goss have slipped back in their Falcons. Bond is third, then Moore. XL bend again, where you saw them come over the hump in a wall of spray. Moffat, closely followed by French. A slight gap to Brock in the first Holden. Then Bond and Moore with their lights on. Goss is in 6th, Gibson 7th, then Gagan in the first Charger. West in the Falcon, then Chivers. Now the S's, and Moffat taking it very easy. The big Falcon looks very skittish. One slight mistake and he could have a spinner. Forrest Weiss sliding a bit, and Moore's right on his tail. French has gone down the escape road. That lets Brock into 2nd. Bond 3rd, Moore 4th. Here comes French. He must have gone down the escape road at the end of the straight. That shows you how slippery it is because French is no mean driver. Through the cutting, second time up the mountain. Still Moffat.
Okay, fellows, we'll follow Colin Bond around this time. Stand by in the end.
Well, we've picked up Colin Bond in the Holden dealer team Torana.
I've got him down the bottom. He's coming around Mountain Straight now. He's coming up
This is the man who won the 69 500 in the Monaro.
Look at Bond.
And he's gone.
He's gone. Look.
Look, Colin Bond who crashed with Reed Park.
Stand by, yeah, Dave. We'll have a replay of this crash. Stand by.
Now, here's the replay. Look, he just seems to understeer straight off the track. Could be the wind. Hits the barrier. Goes onto his roof. Slides across the track. Rolls back on his wheels. It looks as though he hits a drain or an obstruction of some kind because he goes again. This is a bad one. That could be an end for end.
On Holden's hopes ride with Brock and Moore, they're pushing Moffat hard as he escapes the big Falcon down through the S's. Moffat at least will be glad that he's got one of the nimble Toranas off his back. Colin Bond is all right. He's coming to the pit.
But you went round the lap and the track was quite all right. They said you were playing out. Same again.
Mercas are quiet. I'll just wait till it stops. They automatically turn the vacuum system on when you start sanding. They're a brilliant setup. But yeah, so absolute brilliant setup. These Mercas, I'm sort of getting to like it more and more as we use them. So that's starting to feel absolutely mint now with 240. Obviously when we prime it won't be 240, but I'm just showing you what it looks like on camera. They've finished, so I'll get it a little bit more shinier so then we can bring the camera and run it along and show you how straight the panel is. Alright, that will do. So you can see alrighty, now that I've finished with the 240 on the rotary orbital, it has come up absolutely mint. I'm so happy with that finish, and the best part about this is the sort of work that really satisfies me as being a panel beater. If I was just to use a filler over that and bog it all, it's not satisfying, and I know in my head how much solvents are in all those materials. So you've got your body filler, then you've got your primers, and every time I see that car in the sun, like at a show, it's always in my mind how much it's sinking back, and there's a lot more to panel beating than what it looks. So for me, having that finish, I now know Matt can park this in the sun and I don't have to worry about it because there's nothing to sink back. And it's the invisible repair, obviously, and structurally safe repair. So everything is done 100% in my head. I know that I've done the job right, and that finish is absolutely perfect. So, and it's really good that I can show you as followers, and you can see the traditional ways with panel beating. So this is the real way. This is how you're taught by the book, by doing your trade. So cheers, Pops.
Cheers, mate. End of another week.
Another week down, mate.
Sit down, chill out, watch a bit of 1972 Bathurst. Classic. Wow, the little Torana's going around there pretty hard in that wet. I can remember that really well that year. My God, she was full on. There was a couple of real decent prangs.
Really?
Yeah. And the big Falcons, little Toranas, going hard at it. There we go, down round Forest Albo, down Mountain Straight, going as hard as. But the old Falcons, unfortunately, got a bit of a whipping. Moffat wondered what the hell hit him, I think, there towards the end of it all. But little Tories come out and done their thing.
On that slippery first lap. Gibbo's going.
The commentary, over she goes as Falcon. Big rollover.
Just missed him. That was a fearful accident. The Falcon took a real hammering.
But yeah, the competition, it was as fierce as back then, the rivalry. Holden Ford deal. We had Brock, Moffat, Bond, all those guys. And then you had Harry Firth running the Holden team back in the day. And it was full on. Those guys were, they were gunning for it back then. But that's a decent rollover, that Falcon.
Yeah, that's a good one, Pops. Damn. That's a bit different to the cars today, mate.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Totally different. I mean, they were out there. It was real racing back in the day. It was raw.
What was he telling you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
What happened, basically? He said it's so very muddy up there, you can't miss out
Yeah,
by
mate,
half an inch.
Bit slippery.
Yeah, it was back then. She was full on.
Well, the two top drivers like
How do you like the tow truck?
Oh.
just how dicey things
That's
are.
a beauty.
Anybody who's still out there is doing well.
Moffat's spun. He's up a bank and reparked.
Moffat's off, mate.
Yep.
That's two quick body
Unfortunately
blows.
for Al,
Gibson crashes,
the deal
and
was
now
over.
Moffat in trouble. That
but I tell you what, you know, you've got to hand it to all those teams, like, and the drivers back then. It was gloves off, full on. The technology was bugger all then, and it was proper racing.
Yeah, it was awesome, Pops. Far out.
It was every man for himself, literally, back then. There's Brock going hard.
I think it was the real deal, wasn't it?
It was the real deal racing.
It sort of was the true Holden versus Ford by the looks of that, mate. You know?
Yeah, and everybody else. But how's the pit stop? Run around with a tyre, do what you can do, put some fuel in, hope for the best and go hard.
No safety equipment there.
That was full on. He liked the helmet.
Yeah, check that out. What's it? Where are they filling it up with fuel?
Yep. Now Moffat's turn.
Oh, shit, it's changed, hey?
Actually, yeah, the old the fuel can looks like a bloody garden watering can.
Gosh, that's bloody gold.
Yeah, it is actually. They were good days. It was really full on then. And to be honest, I think overall stats, Holden's had the most wins, I think.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
I don't know back in the day where the old Valiants came along or didn't, but they were up there for a while because you started off back in, I think it was 69, 70. You had the Monaros.
Oh, there's the Charger, mate.
Charger's tail spinning all right. Backing off up a embankment.
Oh, the little Tories, they're only small, aren't they?
They are.
Compared to the Falcon, they're big cars.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like, you know, the Falcon was a much heavier, bigger car. And trying to negotiate that around in those conditions.
Oh,
Done a good job, they did.
Yeah, you'd have to be hanging on.
They're bringing Peter Brock in.
Here comes Brocky, in he comes.
It's left.
They got the can, filling it up.
And she goes, give her a drink.
That's hard work.
Boys are going hard with the jacks for the tyres.
All right, well, that's it, Pops, for this part one in the Bathurst 1972. It is a special edition I'm putting together for the Holden dealer team, and I just keep the memories going for everyone, and we never want to forget them. So
God, no.
Obviously it's out of my time, it's more of your time, Pops, and all your mates. So, but I look back and that's just awesome footage to watch, you know, for me. So
Back in the day, the Holden Ford rivalry, she was full on.
it was, hey, and that's why, you know, with your age group of guys, is they're all, you know, it's a personal thing. If you're holding Ford and it's in your blood and that's just how it is. Just watching all the brands of cars, it's such a cool thing to see them all racing like that. You know, like the real car, untouched sort of thing, like today's V8s, the supercars, you sort of watch it and you think, well...
It's all technology. Back
yeah.
then it was just cross your fingers and hope and everything else and hope you're going to get home.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, no, they were good days. But all right, well, I think that's it, Mick.
I think that's it, Pops. So, all right, well, that's it for the special edition part one. And
as I always say, keep it real, keep it right, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next episode, everyone. Thank you for watching, and part two will be Sunday.
Cheers.
Cheers.